You've probably heard of the tragic story of Princess Diana, but have you ever wondered what really happened that night? Was it just an accident, or is there something deeper we haven't been told? In today's video, we'll uncover the mysteries behind Princess Diana's death, the details that haven't been revealed, the theories that have never been discussed. Everything will be brought to light. If you believe there's something suspicious behind this accident, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Let's uncover the truth together, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1, 1961 in Sandringham, Norfolk, into an old aristocratic family in England. She was the fourth of 5 children born to Earl Althorp and Countess Spencer. The Spencer family had a close relationship with the British royal family, which opened the door for Diana to be exposed to the aristocracy from a young age, including Prince Charles. In the summer of 1980, during a hunting party hosted by the Spencer family, Diana, who was just 19 years old at the time, met Charles. With her gentle beauty, refined manners, and kind heart, she quickly won the affection of the royal family. Shortly after, they decided to hold the wedding of the century on July 29, 1981. The fairy tale ceremony was broadcast live to 750 million global viewers. Diana appeared resplendent in a wedding gown over 7 meters long, crafted entirely from 40 meters of British silk, adorned with meticulously hand-embroidered lace. Her engagement ring, an 18-carat sapphire surrounded by 14 diamonds valued at $63,000, became a symbol of royal love. The world seemed to be witnessing a princess stepping out of a fairy tale. Beyond being a stunning bride, Diana also captured the public's hearts through her tireless humanitarian efforts. She actively participated in campaigns to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS, a disease heavily stigmatized at the time. She also traveled to conflict zones like Angola, where she personally walked through minefields left over from the war to advocate for action. The image of Princess Diana in protective gear walking amidst a minefield became a global symbol of courage and compassion. The public's love for her was genuine and profound, but behind that dazzling spotlight lay a reality of loneliness and heartbreak. Just 1 year after the wedding, conflicts between Charles and Diana began to emerge. Many believed it was because they married too quickly without enough time to understand and reconcile their personalities. However, the true reason ran deeper: the presence of another woman, Camilla Parker Bowles. The media and public alike believed that Camilla was the woman Prince Charles truly loved. Their relationship began in 1972, at a party where Camilla once joked, "My great-grandmother and your great-grandfather were lovers." What seemed like a casual remark became the catalyst that brought the two closer. The pain of rejection and an unhealed emotional wound kept Charles from breaking free of Camilla even after he married Diana. This gradually extinguished the young princess's hopes for a happy married life. Also feeling they had so much in common, Camilla and Charles quickly moved into a passionate relationship. That same year, Charles confessed his feelings, but Camilla declined, fearing the restrictive life within the royal family. In early 1973, she married Major Andrew Parker Bowles, a close friend of Charles. Despite his heartbreak, Charles was forced to accept an arranged marriage with Diana under pressure from the royal family. The unfulfilled romance with Camilla left a wound in the prince's heart that was not easily healed. Even after marrying Diana, Prince Charles couldn't forget Camilla Parker Bowles, the woman who had been his deep love before marriage. When Prince William, their first son, was born, the cracks in their marriage became apparent. Charles was torn between his royal duties and his lingering feelings for Camilla, causing deep pain not only to Diana, but also to Camilla's husband. This persistent love triangle had severe consequences for both families, becoming a hard-to-heal wound in the history of the British royal family. As the Princess of Wales, Diana constantly struggled under the strictures of the royal family while enduring a cold and lonely marriage. The isolation, public pressure, and feeling of betrayal plunged her into a mental health crisis. Diana suffered from depression and an eating disorder, and her mental state grew increasingly unstable. In contrast, Charles remained indifferent and distant. In 1994, during a BBC interview, he publicly admitted that his relationship with Camilla continued even after marrying Diana, a confession that shocked and saddened the public. Charles further asserted that he was merely waiting for his marriage to collapse so he could return to the woman he truly loved implicitly, stating that his love for Diana had never existed. According to many accounts, the moment that completely shattered the marriage was the birth of Prince Harry. Charles had hoped for a daughter, so when he learned it was another son, he couldn't hide his disappointment. He even made unpleasant remarks about Harry's red hair, which he believed was inherited from the Spencer side, Diana's family. These seemingly casual words were the final straw, leaving Diana even more hurt and isolated in her own home. By December 1992, after years of tension and intense media scrutiny, then British Prime Minister John Major officially announced that Charles and Diana were separating. This news immediately became the focus of global media, leading to a barrage of interviews, articles, and images that exposed the dark side of a marriage once likened to a fairy tale. Charles wasn't the only one criticized for infidelity. Diana also faced intense media scrutiny. She was rumored to have had relationships with several men, most notably Barry Manicky, her former bodyguard, and James Hewitt, a former cavalry officer whom she admitted to loving. Public speculation also swirled around other men in Diana's life, further complicating her image in the public eye. The flame of their marriage was completely extinguished, with no hope left for salvation. In August 1996, Charles and Diana officially divorced, bringing an end to a tragic marriage, a failed love story that the entire world had followed and lamented. After her divorce, Princess Diana and her two sons were invited to vacation on the yacht of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed in the Mediterranean. There, she met Dodi Al Fayed Mohammed's son, an Egyptian film producer. The relationship between Diana and Dodi quickly blossomed. They found a connection in their personalities, emotions, and a shared desire for genuine love after much heartache. But at that time, privacy wasn't respected as it is today. As soon as news of their relationship leaked, media outlets everywhere immediately descended. Intimate photos of them flooded the tabloids. However, Diana didn't seem to care. After everything, she just wanted to be happy. However, the blossoming romance between Diana and Dodi Al Fayed, which had just begun under the Mediterranean sun, abruptly ended in an unforeseen tragedy. In the early hours of August 31, 1997, the Mercedes carrying them crashed into a concrete pillar in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, while trying to escape relentless paparazzi. The horrific collision killed Diana Dodi and their driver, Henri Paul, while bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones was severely injured and the sole survivor. Chaotic images taken immediately after the accident spread worldwide, profoundly shocking billions of people. Is there something suspicious behind Princess Diana's death? unrevealed theories, details that have captured the world's attention. Let's explore the mysteries behind this tragic accident. Just one day earlier, on August 30th, Diana and Dodi had arrived in Paris from Sardinia, Italy. They were staying at the Ritz Paris, owned by the Al Fayed family, with plans to visit Dodi's father, billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed, the next day. However, the presence of Princess Diana, a global icon, immediately attracted a swarm of paparazzi at Place Vendôme, where the hotel is located. To distract the media, the security team had prepared a decoy car, while Diana and Dodi were taken through the back exit and into an armored Mercedes S280, accompanied by driver Henri Paul and bodyguard Rhys Jones. Unfortunately, none of them wore seatbelts, a detail that would later be considered a key factor in making the accident so catastrophic. As soon as the car left the hotel, it was immediately spotted. Paparazzi on motorcycles relentlessly pursued them. In an attempt to shake them off, Henri Paul drove the car at speeds over 100 km/h, double the legal limit in the city. When they entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the Mercedes reportedly collided with a white Fiat, before losing control and crashing into a concrete pillar in the middle of the tunnel. The accident happened in the blink of an eye. Henri Paul and Dodi died instantly. Trevor Rhys Jones suffered severe facial and head injuries, surviving, but losing all memory of that fateful moment. And what about Princess Diana? At first, she was still conscious, with no obvious injuries but in a state of severe shock. Medical personnel immediately pulled her from the car and began emergency treatment on the way to the hospital. However, Diana's heart had been displaced due to the impact tearing the left pulmonary vein and the pericardium. Despite efforts to revive her, she did not survive and passed away at 3 a.m., ending her short but turbulent life at the age of 36. News of Princess Diana's death spread at lightning speed. Major newspapers all ran the haunting headline, "Diana is dead." People flooded the streets in shock and deep sorrow. Outside Kensington Palace, millions of bouquets, handwritten letters, and candles were placed along the walkway in tribute. They mourned not only for the loss of a princess, but for a symbol of compassion, a devoted mother and a woman who courageously stepped out from the shadow of the royal family to live true to her heart. On September 6, 1997, Princess Diana's state funeral took place at Westminster Abbey. It became one of the most watched events in human television history. An estimated 3 million people flooded the streets of London to bid her farewell, while over 2.5 billion people worldwide watched live on television, nearly 1/3 of the global population at the time. The moment when Princes William and Harry, then just 15 and 12 years old, quietly walked behind their mother's coffin, became an unforgettable image. Whatever the truth may be, Princess Diana's death forever closed the story of an extraordinary woman. One who dared to love, dared to live, and dared to defy destiny. Diana was not just the Princess of Wales, but the Princess of the people's hearts. A symbol of compassion, independence, and the desire for freedom. Even though many years have passed, the death of the people's princess still leaves behind pain, doubt, and regret. Perhaps what makes Diana immortal in the hearts of the public is not just that she left us too soon, but that she lived courageously, kindly, and with deep compassion in a world full of prejudice and pressure. According to the official investigation's conclusion driver, Henri Paul, who was behind the wheel of the Mercedes carrying Princess Diana on that fateful night, had a blood alcohol concentration 3.5 times above the legal limit, and had also taken sedatives before getting into the car. French authorities believed that this caused him to lose control of the vehicle, leading to the horrific crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. However, this conclusion did little to calm public opinion. On the contrary, it sparked a global wave of outrage. Many believed that the police were too hasty or even deliberately pushed the case towards an accident to cover up a larger conspiracy. Whispers, doubts, and conspiracy theories began to emerge, not only from tabloid newspapers, but also from credible voices within independent analysis and investigation circles. At the time of the accident, Diana was no longer the official princess of the royal family. After her sensational divorce from Prince Charles, she was stripped of the title Her Royal Highness and many other royal privileges. However, she became more famous than ever, not only for her beauty and kindness, but also for her independence, her willingness to challenge royal traditions, and her openness about the injustices and pain she had endured. This very strength earned her widespread admiration, and also made quite a few people uncomfortable. In the eyes of a segment of the conservative upper echelons, Diana was a thorn to be removed, a rebellious symbol threatening the solemn image and long-standing power of the British royal family. The most chilling conspiracy theory to gain widespread traction is that the British royal family orchestrated Diana's death. This hypothesis gained significant weight when a haunting detail resurfaced in her famous 1995 interview with the BBC's Panorama program. Diana stated she had a premonition she would be killed, possibly in a car plane or helicopter crash accidents staged to look like unfortunate incidents. This was no longer just a premonition. It felt like a chilling, self-fulfilling prophecy uttered by her 2 years before her death. As news of the accident spread like wildfire, the entire world turned its attention to the British royal family awaiting a condolence message, an official statement. But the longer they waited, the more disappointed they became. Queen Elizabeth II, who was at Balmoral Castle at the time, maintained complete silence for several days after Diana's death. Buckingham Palace did not fly its flag at half-mast. No statements were issued. No press conferences were held. This silence not only stunned the British public, but also ignited an unprecedented wave of outrage. In the eyes of the public, the royal family wasn't just insensitive, they had something to hide. Accusations began to echo everywhere. Were they concealing the truth? Had the royal family itself orchestrated the elimination of Diana, the woman who had shaken the monarchy with her revelations of betrayal, deceit, and pretense? Under immense public pressure, the Queen finally broke her silence. Buckingham Palace, for the first time in history, flew its flag at half-mast to honor a former member of the royal family. A live televised address followed in which the Queen praised Diana as an exceptional woman and shared her profound sorrow. But for many, those words came too late. They believed Diana's pain and death were not accidental, but rather the result of a silent, cold, yet sophisticated campaign to eliminate her. Though Diana's death was officially ruled an accident in the hearts of millions, the truth still holds shadows that have never been fully illuminated. To this day, the theories surrounding the crash persist like a historical scar, a reminder that even love, fame, and compassion couldn't protect one from the cold forces in the dark. Diana is gone, but her image, the woman who dared to love, dared to speak, dared to be different lives on in the hearts of the British people and the world. She wasn't just a symbol of beauty, but a symbol of truth, compassion, and an indomitable spirit, something no force could ever extinguish. Did the British royal family orchestrate the accident leading to their initial indifference? One of the strongest voices to emerge was that of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed Dodi's father. He claimed the British authorities staged the accident to prevent a Muslim from marrying the beautiful princess. According to him, Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's husband, was the mastermind behind British agents killing Diana and Dodi, as he disapproved of their relationship, especially given that Diana's son would be the heir to the throne. The British royal family found it hard to accept the future king of the nation, calling a Muslim man father. Additionally, another car appeared inside the tunnel where the accident occurred, cutting off Diana's Mercedes and forcing driver Henry Paul to swerve sharply. The team of detectives present at the scene also collaborated with British intelligence agency MI6, pursuing Diana's Mercedes closely, which compelled the driver to maintain high speed before entering the tunnel. However, if that were the only evidence, this theory wouldn't have gained widespread support. The accident was also seen by some as a stepping stone for Prince Charles to officially marry Camilla. Indeed, soon after Diana's death, Charles and Camilla gradually went public with their relationship, and by April 2005, their wedding took place with Camilla becoming queen consort. This was a bitter irony for Diana's life. Nevertheless, the police publicly refuted Al Fayed's accusations, calling them entirely baseless. Beyond the accusations leveled against the British royal family, there's also a theory suggesting that the paparazzi deliberately caused the accident. Could simply hounding someone for photos lead to a princess's death? One poll revealed that as many as 43% of Britons blamed the press. Before the incident, Diana was constantly in the media's spotlight with her private life endlessly exploited. At one point, she was even dubbed the most photographed woman in the world, under 24/7 surveillance. This excessive attention became one of the factors contributing to the tragic accident. Even upon arriving in Paris, the paparazzi remained relentless, tracking every move to get the latest scoop on Diana and Dodi's relationship. On the night of the accident, the press were chasing Diana's Mercedes in low-light conditions. These photographers undoubtedly had to use additional flash units to capture the best quality pictures. A series of simultaneous flashes could very well have impaired driver Henry Paul's vision, causing him to panic and inadvertently hit the accelerator. Consequently, the car lost control and the tragic events unfolded as we know. In a documentary released in 2017, 20 years after Diana's passing, Prince William shared that he thought about his mother almost every day. He recalled her lively personality and how she always made sure her sons understood that life was not just confined within the walls of the palace. Diana took her children on public buses, participated in activities at amusement parks, and even visited McDonald's. She wanted her sons to experience the lives of ordinary people and find joy in those simple moments. Diana wanted to ensure that her sons knew they would always be loved no matter what happened. She taught William to live freely and not worry about the future. Her lessons helped her sons feel more connected to the world outside the royal family. Harry, in an interview, shared his special relationship with his mother. He remembered the warm hugs from Diana, the way she would lift him up and hold him tightly in her arms. Each hug from his mother still lives in his memory, carrying her love, even though she has passed away. Diana's sudden death in 1997 left a deep pain for her two sons, with William being just 15 and Harry 12 years old. This loss was an immense sorrow as they lost their mother at such a young age. Harry expressed that he still longs for his mother's presence every day. And despite the passage of time, he continues to remember Diana, the wonderful mother he will always love. Following the French investigation, the British police also launched their own inquiry into Diana's death. 3 forensic experts and traffic accident specialists jointly examined every aspect of the crash, attempting to determine if anything had tampered with the vehicle. Indeed, the possibility of the Mercedes being sabotaged couldn't be ruled out. They even used an identical car to Diana's for comparison, searching for any discrepancies. However, there were no signs whatsoever of anything having been attached or any car parts being damaged. Like most previous lines of inquiry, this one led to a dead end. The police ultimately concluded that no information was found to suggest any external interference with the Mercedes caused the accident. Let's shift our perspective for a moment. If the culprit were one of the 3 people in the car with Diana, then anything is possible. However, the most suspected individual is obviously the driver, Henri Paul, who died at the scene of the accident. What would make him sacrifice himself to cause such a shocking incident? Was Paul a spy for some organization? The biggest question here is whether the driver was actually drunk at the time of the accident. As a security manager, he surely must have understood that he was protecting the lives of a superstar like Diana and the son of a notorious billionaire. He had to know that drinking before driving could be dangerous, and Paul certainly understood the severe consequences he'd face if anything happened to these 2 important individuals. Not only that, but Paul's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. This detail has caused much debate to this day, as at the very least the other people in the car could have detected the driver's impairment through body odor or flushed skin. Would Diana truly trust a drunk driver to help her escape the paparazzi? When investigators spoke to those close to him, Paul was known as a responsible individual, always performing his duties well and prioritizing the protection of human lives. So could the police's conclusion be flawed? Some conspiracy theories suggest that Paul's blood test results were falsified. Blood samples were taken both at the time of the accident and during the autopsy. Therefore, the possibility of the samples being switched could certainly be considered. This passing symbolized the shattering of a royal dream and the erosion of trust in the powerful forces behind the curtain. Yet it also showed that mystery always exists behind the glamour and power. Therefore, we can only believe that the princess tragically died in a traffic accident rather than for any other reasons or conspiracies. Despite the challenges, Diana maintained her dignity and confidence. She dedicated herself to raising her children and engaging in charity work. Even in the face of loneliness and dissatisfaction from some royal family members, Diana used her fame to raise awareness about social issues and challenge royal norms. She openly expressed her emotions in public, something that some members of the royal family disagreed with, but it won her widespread admiration from the public. Diana's time in the royal family was not just filled with glamorous events and media attention. She endured many personal struggles and tensions within the palace. Although she gained the affection of the public, not everyone in the royal family was fond of her. Diana learned many valuable lessons during those challenging years, and she maintained her resilience even when facing strained relationships and loneliness within the royal family. Despite facing countless challenges and not always being accepted, Diana remained true to herself until her death. This is why she is always remembered with deep admiration. Diana endured incredibly difficult times within the palace, yet she was consistently loved. So after exploring the significant details surrounding the accident together, we can see that the truth might be far more complex than what was publicly revealed. This incident remains full of mysteries and will likely forever be a part of history that we can't fully explain. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts, like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss our next fascinating stories. We'll see you in the next interesting tales. Shocking revelations from the British royal family. At 75, King Charles was reportedly brought to tears after Queen Camilla allegedly threatened to blackmail him. What could possibly make a monarch break down like that? And how did this situation unfold behind palace doors? You won't believe what's supposedly happening within Buckingham Palace. Do you think King Charles has been pushed too far? If you believe Camilla's actions are unacceptable, leave a 1 in the comments. If you think this is just another royal drama, comment 0. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest royal news. For many years, Prince Edward has quietly stood behind the brilliance of the throne, avoiding attention and often being seen as the most discreet member of the British royal family. Not involved in scandals, nor making controversial statements, he became the epitome of steadfastness and loyalty to both his family and the crown. While the storms of royal life engulfed other members, from Charles and Diana's notorious divorce to the controversies surrounding Prince Andrew, Edward remained silent like a solid shield, protecting the family from public scrutiny. Prince Edward, who is known for his silence and discretion, suddenly broke his silence with a shocking statement. Instead of recalling fond memories or praising Princess Diana, he chose to speak about things the public has rarely heard, shocking truths that many of Diana's longtime admirers call bad news. Why would a man so loyal to the crown choose this moment to speak out? Is there something weighing on his conscience after all these years? Or are the royal secrets becoming too difficult to hide? Are we truly ready to face the truth that Prince Edward is about to reveal? While public attention was focused on the tragic relationship between Diana and Charles, few knew of another bond, quieter, more discreet, yet just as tumultuous, between Princess Diana and Prince Edward, Charles's younger brother. It wasn't a romantic love nor a power struggle. It was a silent understanding, a wordless connection between two people trapped within the strict rules of royalty, where emotions were suppressed and silence was revered. From the very beginning, when Diana entered the royal world, Edward was a quiet witness, observing everything unfold in a subtle but no less significant way. He witnessed the cold stares, the ignored calls, and the formal events where Diana had to force a smile despite the pain in her heart. Prince Edward was unlike Charles. He didn't carry the loneliness of the heir, nor was he burdened by the arrogance of the royal family. He was the only one in all their encounters who gently asked, "Diana, are you okay?" And with that simple question, a silent bond was formed between them. Though they didn't meet often, every time they did, their exchanged glances spoke volumes without words. A former royal staff member once revealed that whenever Diana entered a room, Edward was always the first to stand and walk toward her, a gesture of respect and understanding. It wasn't just a simple act of politeness, but a deeper connection between them. Edward listened to Diana, something Charles had never done, and in letters never before revealed, it's rumored that Diana once wrote, "Edward understands me in a way Charles never bothered to." This close relationship did not escape Charles's attention. In fact, it made him suspicious. At a private meeting in Balmoral, Charles is said to have confronted his brother, asking, "Why are you siding with her? Don't you see she's tearing this family apart?" Edward didn't respond, silently leaving the room, not out of defeat, but as a quiet act of resistance. To protect a woman who was slowly falling apart, Prince Edward did things few knew about. Then came the most tragic moment, Diana's sudden death in the horrific car crash of 1997. According to witnesses, the only person who publicly expressed grief was not Charles nor his young son William, but Edward. He quietly flew to Paris, went straight to the scene of the accident, and requested to see Diana's body before it was brought back to the UK. The palace never made this public, but those close to the royal family knew it to be true. This story is sure to surprise you. Could King Charles at 75 really be pushed to such limits, and is Queen Camilla the figure causing such a stir within the royal family? Let's dive into these tense events right now. After Diana's death, Prince Edward became even more withdrawn. He refused interviews and avoided any events related to her name. However, those who followed the royal family understood that this was not about forgetting, but about a pain too great to be expressed within the confines of royal protocol. Perhaps that's why he always kept a clear distance from Camilla, whom he silently blamed for contributing to Diana's suffering. At Charles and Camilla's wedding, it's said that Edward was the last to sign the guest book, and his message was brief but full of meaning. May your happiness not come at the expense of others. A statement that sent shockwaves through the palace corridors but remained buried deep inside until recently, when Edward, now 61, finally broke his silence. In a private conversation with a trusted source, Prince Edward is said to have said, his voice trembling, "She didn't deserve any of that, not the loneliness, not the betrayal. She was more royal than any of us." It was a confession that shocked those present, because it came from a man who had always been seen as a quiet loyalist of the monarchy, and from that moment, buried secrets began to surface. People began to ask the unimaginable questions. Was there more to Edward and Diana's bond than empathy? Was there something deeper that had to be hushed up to protect the royal image? And if so, was that hidden truth the kind that could bring the entire royal facade of perfection crashing down? Whatever the case, one thing was clear in the maelstrom of Diana's life: Edward was her silent anchor, a brother-in-law who not only saw her pain, but bore it with her, protecting her in silence and preserving her memory as a sacred relic. Now that he has broken his long silence, we are left with a pressing question. Is this just the beginning of a bigger story, waiting to explode a truth that could force royal history to be rewritten? Not in fairy tales, but in the raw, heartbreaking truth that has never been told. The royal family has since time immemorial lived by a strict rule: always control how you are perceived. Their image is carefully constructed around being discreet, polished, and detached from emotional turmoil. There's an old saying they follow like law: never complain or even explain. It's more than a motto, it's a shield that's protected them for generations. They choose what the world sees and keep everything else behind closed doors. Then Diana comes along. From the moment she joins the family, everything starts to change. She was youthful, vibrant, and had a way of connecting with people that no royal had ever had before. While most members of the family kept their emotions hidden behind perfect smiles, Diana showed her heart openly. She cried when she was overwhelmed, she spoke honestly about things that hurt her, and she didn't pretend things were okay when they weren't. And in doing so, she showed the public something they'd never seen before: a royal who felt like one of them. She allowed people to see behind the palace walls and see the reality beneath the traditions. She showed that even those who wore crowns and titles could feel pain, struggle with love, and battle loneliness. Without ever speaking a word, Diana changed the way people viewed the monarchy. And all the while, Prince Edward was there silently watching it all. He never sought the spotlight, but he was there throughout, watching closely as Diana's courage and vulnerability reshaped the royal world in unexpected ways. Prince Edward never intervened in the middle of the royal family's struggles, but that didn't mean he didn't pay attention. He watched quietly from the back as Diana's presence gradually turned the entire royal world upside down. Her rising popularity hit the palace like a sudden storm. The royal family had never faced someone like her before. She was expected to be the quiet support alongside Prince Charles, but instead, she became the star. Everywhere she went, people cheered her name with delight. Photographers followed her relentlessly, and even powerful leaders seemed more interested in meeting Diana than meeting other royals. With each appearance, her influence grew stronger, but behind the scenes, things were not so rosy. Inside the palace walls, the pressure was mounting. The spotlight, once held by the monarchy as a whole, had shifted almost entirely to Diana, and that shift created serious tensions. The royal family has always operated in a world of strict rules and quiet traditions. They keep their personal struggles private and expect everyone in the family to do the same. They resist change, cling to old traditions, and avoid public displays of emotion. But Diana didn't follow that path. She opened up about her pain, she bravely admitted to the isolation she felt, and she spoke about the overwhelming burden of being a royal in a way that no one had dared to talk about before. And because of her honesty, the public loved her all the more. Prince Edward, calm as ever, saw it all unfold. He saw how the royal family struggled to keep up, while Diana's openness connected her to the people in ways the royal family could not. Her truth not only revealed her own struggles, it exposed the backwardness of the monarchy. For generations, the family had carefully shaped how the world saw them. They kept their image polished and aloof, but Diana could not be managed or contained. Her sincerity, the very thing that endeared her to everyone, also became the greatest threat to the old royal system. She made people feel something real, something personal, and that made her more than just a difficult royal. It made her a challenge to everything the monarchy had built over the years. The more they tried to silence or limit her, the more it became clear that their grip on the public trust was fraying. At the time, Edward never said a word about what was happening. He remained silent, choosing to observe rather than intervene, but he saw it all, every moment, every change. And when he finally spoke about those years later, it was clear how deeply Diana had changed things. She didn't just stir the royal waters, she changed the way people viewed the entire monarchy. From the sidelines, Edward saw how Diana's presence both shielded the royal family from total disconnection and forced them to confront a truth they could no longer avoid. She reshaped their world forever, and Edward silently watched it all happen. Diana did something unprecedented in royal history. She made people feel that the crown was not just a symbol, but something real and warm. For so long, the royal family lived hidden behind layers of rules, distance, and quiet dignity. They were not allowed to appear as ordinary people with emotions and flaws. They were supposed to represent tradition, stability, and history. But Diana turned that idea on its head. She did not hide behind guards or large gates. She was soft, open, and never afraid to show affection in public. Instead of just waving from afar, she walked into the crowd, smiling at strangers, touching their hands, and looking them in the eye with warmth. That gentle intimacy felt new and special. She brought the royal world down to earth, closer to the common man, and people felt more connected to her than ever before. But what seemed beautiful to the public felt dangerous inside the palace. This change was not taken lightly. It shook the royal family to its core. No royal has ever been as naturally and deeply loved as Princess Diana. She did not perform her duties as if they were just a job. Her actions came from her heart. Diana was not just present at official events, but went to hospital beds when others were too afraid to come near. When the world stigmatized people with HIV/AIDS, Diana touched them, hugged them, and made them feel appreciated. She did not need the limelight. She needed real change for those who were suffering. Her trips into landmines were not for show, but to raise awareness and fight for those forgotten in war and conflict. That genuine concern endeared Diana to the world not as a royal, but as a global symbol of compassion. She made the seemingly aloof monarchy seem approachable and humane. But it was also what made Diana a source of concern within the royal family. Behind palace walls, her growing fame and influence began to unsettle the traditional guardians of order. The royal family had been built on image control and secrecy, a system that had been built for centuries on keeping emotions bottled up and away from public life. And Diana, with her unbridled honesty, shook that foundation. Diana's openness, her tears, and her voice went against everything the family believed in. She was unpredictable. She said what she felt, she cried when she was sad, and she even showed the world the woman behind the title. That honesty was powerful, but it also made the royal family uncomfortable. They preferred silence to questions. They valued control over raw emotion. Prince Edward, however, seemed to quietly understand her in a way that others did not. He realized that Diana was more than just a princess. She was someone who had captured the hearts of millions around the world. Edward did not try to interfere or suppress her. He stayed on the sidelines, saying nothing while others tried to protect the royal image by silencing her. He watched her struggle to follow the rules of the palace while still maintaining her freedom. But that balance did not last. In her efforts to remain authentic, Diana gradually found herself exhausted. Her strength and independence were also her greatest pain. She could no longer force herself to play the role of a silent, smiling royal. She opened up about her pain and showed everyone what life behind the royal curtain was really like. But her family was not prepared for such openness. They did not know how to react to such honesty. And so it leaves us all with an important question. Did Diana's approach help the monarchy grow, or did it tear it apart? Read on to find out the role Diana played. Many believe that Diana gave the royal family a second chance, because before she came along, interest in the monarchy was fading. To the public, it had begun to look like something from the past, rigid, unapproachable, and stuck in its old ways. But when Diana arrived, everything changed. She brought a new energy, a gentle light that drew people back to the royal family. Diana made the royal family feel important again, and whether they accepted it or not, she ushered them into a new chapter of history. Her presence didn't just draw attention, it opened up hidden corners. Some believe that Diana herself uncovered truths that the royal family had tried to keep quiet for years. By speaking openly about the trauma, loneliness, and pressures she faced inside the palace, Diana lifted the veil that had been placed on the monarchy's image of perfection. She showed the world that behind the diamonds and the glittering golden halls lay a closed, cold, and prejudiced place. Her honest words left a deep mark on the public, a truth that long after her death, the British royal family is still struggling to heal. Meanwhile, Prince Edward, who was always known for his calm and reserved demeanor, kept quiet throughout. He was not the heir to the throne like Charles, nor the tradition breaker like Diana, but he had seen it all. From behind the scenes, he had quietly observed the first cracks in the royal image long before the world had noticed. Then came the fateful moment, August 31st, 1997, when the news of Diana's death in a Paris car crash shocked the world. It was a huge shock, not just a personal loss, but a collapse of trust on a global scale. Candles burned on the pavement outside her home at Kensington Palace all night. Flowers piled up. The world was in deep grief, even though many had never met her. It felt as if someone very dear had been taken away. Diana was more than a royal name. She was a symbol of warmth, of hope, of someone who wanted to make a difference. And now she was gone. The grief was overwhelming, but while the streets were filled with grief, something strange was happening behind the palace doors. The royal family remained completely silent. Their silence shocked the world. People everywhere waited for even a tear, a sign of grief from the royal family. But there was nothing. There were no speeches, no public appearances, not even the flag at Buckingham Palace was lowered. The family was locked in, still clinging to old customs and formality, in a world starved for openness and emotion. The silence was cold and utterly out of place. The traditions they clung to so tightly now seemed out of date, and at this point, their refusal to show emotion only made things worse. The public had changed, and the royal family had not. People could no longer contain their anger. They wanted answers. Why didn't the Queen say anything? Why didn't Charles say anything? Did they feel anything? Public frustration grew by the minute. Headlines attacked the royal family. Celebrities began speaking out against them. Even those who had always supported the monarchy began to question whether the royal family had become too distant from the people they were meant to lead. Yet through all the noise and chaos, Prince Edward remained silent. Deep down, he was suffering, but he never showed it. He was not Diana's husband like Charles, he was not her child, like William or Harry, but he was close enough to see her struggles. As her brother-in-law, he witnessed her pain silently, in a way that others might not, yet he said nothing. His silence held more emotion than any public speech. And by the time the Queen finally addressed the nation, the damage was done. The long wait left a deep wound. The silence from the palace spoke louder than any speech could have. It revealed a version of the royal family that people could not forget. They seemed cold, distant, lost in their own world. And just as Diana's brave honesty had stirred things before this moment of silence left its mark. Diana's passing was the moment when the royal family could no longer avoid change. Her death was a turning point. Suddenly, the usual quiet and reserved way of doing things was no longer enough. People wanted emotion, not tradition. They wanted royals to feel what the world felt. It was no longer acceptable to act as if nothing had happened. The pain of that loss forced the monarchy to rethink everything. They had to open up. They had to show the world that they were human. While the family worked to repair their image and learn to reconnect with the public, Edward remained in the background. He never stepped forward. He never appeared on television or wrote anything. He never shared his feelings or told the world how Diana's death had touched his heart. But he watched it all happen, the grief, the anger, the slow change in the royal family. Yet he kept his thoughts to himself. He never spoke of how he truly felt about the cold silence of the palace or the way the public anger swept like a relentless storm for years. Edward chose to remain in the shadows, saying nothing but silence. Yet the world never stopped talking about Diana. People remembered her kindness, her strength, her pain, and how she tried to bring about change. Her story lives on. Edward's quiet honesty is now shaking the royal family in unexpected ways. His words have raised new questions about what else might be hiding behind the royal family's seemingly flawless exterior. What he said isn't just bringing back pain from the past, it's creating real ripples now. Prince Edward's comments have gone beyond old memories. They've reopened wounds that the royal family has never fully healed. The public reaction to Edward's revelations has made it clear that his decision to finally speak out is adding to the pressure on an already fraying royal system. Today's world demands truth and openness, and the royal family is struggling to keep up. So when someone like Edward, who has always been known for his calm, respectful, and quiet demeanor, decides to confront the painful truth surrounding Diana's life, people can't help but wonder what else might be lurking behind palace walls. Some believe his openness may be just what the monarchy needs. By admitting past mistakes, the royal family can finally show the public that they are capable of learning, changing, and becoming better. For many, that honesty was a step forward, but not everyone saw it that way. Others thought Edward might have crossed a line, one that could make it harder for the royals to protect the image they have so carefully crafted over the years. Regardless of where they stand, one truth is now inescapable. The royal family can no longer pretend the past didn't happen. Once Edward's words were shared with the public, they spread like wildfire. Headlines were quick to appear, and every major news outlet jumped on the story. Talk shows replayed his statements over and over, analyzing each sentence. Journalists filled newspaper columns with speculation about how the palace might respond and what it might mean for the future of the monarchy. At the same time, social media exploded with conversation. In today's fast-paced digital world where every public statement is scrutinized and discussed instantly, Edward's comments became a big moment. People had strong reactions. Some felt that Edward had finally said what had needed to be said for years. They praised him for his honesty and courage for bringing to light a truth that had been hidden for so long. For these people, his honesty was powerful and healing. It brought dignity to Diana's pain and held the royal system accountable. Over the decades, the media has played a huge role in shaping Diana's public image. Some stories have painted her as a helpless victim, while others have portrayed her as someone who brought trouble to her family. But Edward's version doesn't follow any old script. He doesn't try to make Diana look like a saint, nor does he defend the way the royals treated her. Instead, he tells a deeper, more complex story that has forced many journalists to rethink how they covered Diana over the years. The biggest reaction, however, didn't come from TV or newspapers. It came from ordinary people online. In an instant, users were posting videos, comments, and personal thoughts. Hashtags related to Diana, hidden royal secrets, and demands for transparency went viral. Many young people, some of whom weren't even born when Diana died, started talking about her again. They started comparing her experience to Meghan Markle's and wondering if the royal family could survive if it kept repeating the same painful mistakes. The palace has yet to issue an official response, but even without a word from them, the impact of Edward's statement cannot be ignored. The entire public conversation has taken a new turn, and Diana's name is once again being mentioned everywhere with raw emotion, fierce debate, and divided feelings. Edward didn't just say a few harmless words, he reopened a story that many thought had been quietly closed. Prince Edward's decision to break years of silence marked a turning point in how the royal family confronted difficult truths. For a long time, they had chosen silence as a coping mechanism during challenging periods, believing it would protect their reputation. However, Edward's actions proved otherwise. Silence doesn't erase problems. It merely postpones the truth until it can no longer be hidden. His frankness brought Diana's pain back to center stage, a place it had long been neglected. Diana was once the embodiment of compassion and approachability, yet behind that smile lay a silent pain now revealed through Edward's shared words. His speaking out not only awakened old memories, but also raised questions about responsibility, truth, and the cost of silence. While some see this as a courageous act paving the way for healing, many also worry that revealing too much truth could weaken the foundations of the monarchy. Though somewhat controversial, Edward's words have enriched Diana's story, a story that seemed overly familiar but still had much left untold. So the story surrounding King Charles and Queen Camilla continues to stir public debate. Whatever the truth may be, this royal crisis will undoubtedly remain under close scrutiny. How will King Charles handle this situation? One thing is for sure, royal life never lacks surprises. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe so you don't miss our next videos. Duke of Kent finally replaces Camilla with Catherine to lead the Order of the Garter, a major shift in the royal family. In a move that has stunned royal watchers around the world, the Duke of Kent has officially appointed Catherine to lead the prestigious Order of the Garter, replacing Camilla. What does this mean for the future of the monarchy? How will this change the dynamic within the royal family? What's your take on this shocking decision? If you think this is a game changer, leave a 1 in the comments. If you're unsure, drop a 0 and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more royal updates and drama. Let's dive into this royal shakeup and explore what it means for the House of Windsor. The Order of the Garter is a highly respected tradition in British royal history, dating back to 1348, when King Edward III founded it. It stands for honor, loyalty, duty, and service to the nation, and has remained a prominent part of the British monarchy for over 670 years. Membership in the order is not easily obtained and is reserved for a select few individuals who have shown exceptional service to the nation or the monarchy. Each year, Garter Day is celebrated with a solemn and regal ceremony at Windsor Castle, reliving centuries of history. However, in June 2025, a momentous event occurred that touched the hearts of many. A simple transfer of power turned into a moment of momentous change. The Duke of Kent has been a member of the Order since 1985. He has been a loyal companion of the Garter for 40 years. Even at the age of 89, he remains dedicated and ever-present. Although his contributions may be quiet and many may not notice his quiet efforts, the Duke of Kent is a key figure in royal life, always supporting the crown from behind the scenes. For many years, he has epitomized the Garter values, duty, dignity, and belief in tradition. However, as he got older, he made a major decision that would impact the royal family. He chose to step back and focus on the future rather than dwell on the past. He chose Catherine, Princess of Wales. The decision came as a surprise to many, but to those who paid attention, it made sense. Catherine was admired for her gentle strength, deep compassion, and modern grace. She became very popular across the country, evolving into something more than just a royal figure. Catherine represented quiet leadership by blending royal traditions with the modern world. On June 16, 2025, Windsor Castle looked beautiful in the summer sunshine. The sky was clear, and there was a sense of excitement in the air. The annual Garter Day ceremony was about to begin, and many people had gathered in the castle grounds to watch. Some wore big hats, others held umbrellas to block the sun. They stood along the path looking for familiar royal faces and enjoying the music of the marching band. The royal family was dressed in their formal attire. King Charles led the way in a blue velvet robe, a plumed hat, and a shiny coat of arms. When Catherine appeared, she left a deep impression without being ostentatious. She was naturally beautiful and exuded elegant charm. Her white peplum dress by self-portrait was simple yet sophisticated. Her round, saucer-shaped hat by Shaw Barrett added a classic, sophisticated touch. Her pearl jewelry was soft and timeless, blending the whole look. Her chestnut hair was in soft waves, and her makeup was light, with smoky eyes, rosy cheeks, and pale pink lipstick, all of which combined to create an effortless elegance. She walked gracefully alongside the Duchess of Edinburgh and Sir Timothy Lawrence, exuding grace in every gesture. Despite the significance of the event, Catherine appeared relaxed and unperturbed. But few in the crowd knew that the day was more than just a ceremony or a photo op in the chapel. A quiet decision was about to become a pivotal moment. St. George's Chapel was splendored as the royal family and the Knights of the Garter entered. The chapel was illuminated by a golden glow through stained glass windows, adding to the sense of the weight of history. Inside, it was quiet, with the ceremony expected to follow tradition, with prayers, readings, and possibly the induction of new members. However, an unexpected development occurred. The Duke of Kent, who is usually healthy and reliable, did not walk into the chapel this time, but arrived by car. His old age was evident, but his enthusiasm and energy had not faded. As he entered, many in the chapel straightened up a little, realizing they were in the presence of someone who had spent most of his life serving others. If you were chosen to be the successor to lead the royal tradition, who would you choose, Catherine? Comment number 2, Camilla. Comment number 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us in continuing to bring exciting royal news. Au revoir. The passing of responsibilities in the ancient chapel was not only a continuation of tradition, but also a commitment to the future. The Duke of Kent had spent his life in service, and now he was entrusting that responsibility to someone he believed could continue it with love, strength, and grace. Catherine, in her pure white gown and eyes alight with faith, entered into that promise with a calm, unpretentious demeanor. Her actions spoke volumes, a willingness, a spirit of service, and a loyalty to both family and country. It was not just any day, but a historic day marking the beginning of a new chapter. And by her side, Prince William, her partner and companion, was always there. Their relationship was a model of commitment and empathy in modern royalty. From their early days of dating to becoming parents of 3 children, their love had never wavered. As Catherine took on her new and important role, William's gaze said it all: pride, support, and a promise to always be there no matter what. Over time, Kate began to make her return to the public eye gently at her own pace. She maintained her natural happiness and warm, kind eyes. People were not only happy to see her back, but also admired her resilience and optimistic spirit. William has always been by her side, offering his full support and love, not just as a prince, but also as a devoted husband, ready to stand by Kate through every challenge in life. Prince Edward, Queen Elizabeth's youngest son, is an important but little-known figure in the royal family. There are few people the Queen can fully trust, and together with Prince Philip, Edward has lived a life steeped in tradition, duty, and dignity. Although he has stood behind his siblings, his life has been marked by quiet achievements and devotion to the royal family. Throughout his career, Prince Edward has received many important awards and positions, affirming his special position in the British royal family. He is currently a member of the Order of the Garter, one of the oldest and most prestigious orders in the UK. He is also a member of the Order of the Thistle, a symbol of deep connection with Scotland. In addition, Edward holds the title of Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order and is appointed personal aide to the monarch. Prince Edward's journey as a royal has been quiet and dignified without drama. He has shown loyalty and respect in serving family and country, always remaining humble and not seeking the spotlight. With each new title and careful decision, he has carved out a unique role for himself within the royal family. The titles, badges, and prestigious appointments he has received all illustrate a prince who remains steadfast and kind despite the upheavals of royal life. Is this the reason behind the Duke's commitment to what matters, or is there something more going on behind the palace walls? Let's take a closer look. A smooth transition. The Duke of Kent, born in 1935 and known as Prince Edward, has lived royal life with a sense of purpose, humility, and grace. He is a close relative of Queen Elizabeth II and has been a key figure in the monarchy for many years. He has earned a reputation for his dedication and fierce loyalty to the royal family, often working quietly behind the scenes with a deep commitment. He attended thousands of public events on behalf of the royal family, including ceremonies, state visits, and gatherings in the UK and abroad. His commitment to important causes such as the Royal National Lifeboat Institution and his active involvement in the Order of the Garter gave his royal service a deep sense of meaning and dedication. The Order of the Garter, a prestigious honor in the British monarchy, was of particular importance to him, as it represented his ties to tradition and his firm belief in the value of history and service. Since marrying Prince William in 2011, Catherine has earned the respect of both the public and the royal family. Her efforts to raise awareness of mental health, childhood development, and cancer have made a significant impact. But I have an amazing medical team who have looked after me so well, which I am incredibly grateful for. She is able to effectively handle her public duties while remaining true to herself. However, it is not just her charity work that is admired by everyone, but also her genuine and caring personality. Whether she is attending formal events or interacting with ordinary people, Catherine's warmth and kindness are always evident. The Duke of Kent saw in Catherine valuable qualities such as charm, intelligence, and the potential to carry on royal traditions in the future. His choice of her as leader of the Order of the Garter was not only emotional, but also strategically important. It was part of a larger movement initiated by King Charles III to create a streamlined royal family that was rooted in tradition but open to modern change. The king fully supported the Duke's decision and had deep confidence in the leadership and value Catherine would bring to the monarchy. The occasion was not only a formal affair at St. George's Chapel, but also one of deep emotion. It symbolized the passing of titles and reflected the strong bonds of trust and closeness within the royal family. Although the Duke of Kent is often portrayed as a rather aloof man, his speech at the ceremony revealed his sincere admiration and deep feelings for Catherine. In speaking of her, he not only trusted her leadership skills, but also her compassionate nature and devotion. His eyes reflected the gentleness that had come from years of royal service and the confidence that his precious legacy would be firmly preserved through Catherine. Catherine was emotional at the time. Those close to the royal family said she felt honored and aware of the responsibility. She had always admired the Duke for his strength and dedication. It meant a lot to her to be recognized in public by him. The title was not just ceremonial, it was a sign of faith in her and encouragement to move forward. King Charles and Queen Camilla also appeared moved. The king, who has been close to the Duke for a long time, was seen wiping away tears as the chapel erupted in applause. Prince William, who usually maintains a composed demeanor in public, watched with pride as his wife took on her new role. The peaceful carriage ride that followed allowed for some reflection. As the royal family departed, it was not a noisy or lavish affair. Instead, it was quiet, thoughtful, and filled with meaning. The day was important to Catherine. Over the years, she had transformed herself from a young royal bride into a mature and respected figure. Her hard work had helped build her reputation as a caring leader. The Garter Day ceremony symbolized a new beginning for her. It was a clear sign that she was prepared to take on more of a leadership role, not only in her projects, but also in the traditions of the monarchy. Those who have followed Catherine's progress have noticed subtle changes from before. Her way of carrying herself, her confidence, and her calm yet powerful presence are signs of someone who has developed her abilities with innate strength. The way she treats others, from children to VIPs, seems genuine and approachable. She listens attentively, responds with compassion, and forms meaningful connections with people. The Duke thought carefully about his decision and discussed it with the king and other senior members of the royal family to ensure a smooth transition. Those close to the palace believed that Catherine was his first choice from the start. He had strong faith in her abilities and wanted to ensure that the Order of the Garter was passed on to worthy people respecting its past and future. The Duke quietly guided the younger generation of royals by sharing his experiences with Catherine and William over tea through small gestures and kind words. His advice was invaluable because he had lived through many of the most important moments in royal history. He recognized Catherine not only as a future queen, but also as someone who would represent the monarchy well. The ceremony was not just about a woman or a title, but about a family that has overcome many obstacles and continued to support each other. From dealing with health issues to facing public scrutiny and mourning the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, the royal family has had its share of difficult times. But events like this, marked by unity and mutual respect, show the public that beyond official duties, there is a family that relies on each other for support. The presence of senior members of the royal family, including King Charles, Princess Anne, and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester at the event, is not only a tradition, but also a demonstration of unity. Their attendance demonstrates loyalty not only to the monarchy, but to each other. Catherine's new position as head of the order symbolizes this unity. It is a moment where past and present meet and trust is passed down through the generations. Catherine had a close relationship with the Duke of Kent, although their relationship was not often in the public eye. They respected and cared for each other. He gave her wise advice, and she admired him, which brought them closer together. She often looked to him for guidance to understand things better. His calm and experienced outlook on life helped her feel secure, especially at important public events. The Duke not only gave her a title, but also gave her his approval by granting her this prestigious honor. By accepting it, Catherine demonstrated that she was not only willing, but also prepared. She not only became the Princess of Wales, but also embraced her role as a guardian of tradition and a symbol of hope for the future of the British monarchy. A journey of strength and grace. Princess Kate, the Princess of Wales, has announced that she is undergoing treatment for cancer. This is a very personal message from the princess, who has always exuded confidence, grace, and love for family and country. As she entered royal life, the eyes of the world followed her. However, no one could have guessed that she was secretly facing a personal battle. Despite her calm exterior, the revelation of her cancer diagnosis shocked many. It was unbelievable that someone as elegant and vibrant as she was could face such a painful ordeal. Despite this difficult time, Princess Kate has shown courage that has earned her admiration. At the center of it all is Catherine, who enters a new chapter of royal duties with the calm but steady guidance of the Duke, who has always been a dedicated guide. The Duke is known for his peaceful demeanor and thoughtful manner, making him a powerful yet humble figure within the royal family. While he prefers to stay out of the public eye, his influence is profound on those he trusts and nurtures. One of these was Catherine, Princess of Wales, who received subtle guidance and encouragement from the Duke. Their interactions were understated, but profound, marked by the wisdom, compassion, and understanding that came from years of royal service. The bond, forged through intimate conversations and wise counsel, was evident in every meaningful exchange of gestures and glances. Through it all, we see Catherine gradually transform from a newcomer to royal duties into a confident figure, taking on an important leadership position with the Duke's unwavering support and assistance. Catherine received unwavering support from the entire royal family on this momentous day. King Charles III, despite his personal challenges and the enormous responsibility of ascending the throne, still showed deep concern and trust in Catherine through his meaningful nod of approval. Beside her, Prince William walked steadily with pride in his eyes and unwavering support, giving Catherine the strength and courage to continue taking on her new role. The ceremony not only marked an important milestone in Catherine's royal career, but also a testament to their shared journey as a resilient couple, overcoming many challenges and building a loving and lasting family life. However, Catherine is not content with simply maintaining long-established customs. She wants to renew and revive them in a way that is more relevant to today's younger generation. She is currently working on a plan to modernize the Order of the Garter, making it more relevant and accessible to modern society. One of the proposals being considered is to expand exhibitions and educational initiatives so that the public, especially children and young people, can better understand the history and significance of the order. In addition, Catherine is working with historians and experts to create a global digital archive that will make it easier for people around the world to learn about the values and legacy of the Order of the Garter. She also proposes partnerships with schools and nonprofits to spread the core values of the Order of the Garter, such as service, courage, and loyalty, into education and the community. Catherine believes that honoring the past is not only a matter of looking back, but also of inspiring a better future. In the royal corridors of power, where tradition often rules supreme, the Duke of Kent's decision sent a quiet but powerful shockwave. As the highest-ranking woman in the kingdom, Queen Camilla would have been the natural successor to lead such a noble order. The choice of Catherine, instead, was not a snub to the Queen, but a deliberate statement. It was a sign that the monarchy under King Charles was willing to prioritize the long-term future and stability over strict adherence to ceremonial succession rules. The Duke of Kent, who has served the royal family through decades of change, possesses a deep wisdom. His decision was not a whim, but the result of years of observation. He has seen Catherine mature from a young royal bride into a confident politician who can connect with the public in an authentic way without losing her dignity. He recognizes that for the Order of the Garter to continue to be meaningful in the 21st century, it needs a leader who both respects the past and embodies the future. In his eyes, Catherine is the perfect bridge. While the public may have murmured that Queen Camilla was being overlooked, the reality inside the palace was quite different. Queen Camilla, who had shown incredible resilience and loyalty, understood her role as a supporter of the king and the crown. She recognized that giving Catherine this role would strengthen the Princess of Wales's position and strategically allocate important responsibilities within a slimmed-down monarchy. Her quiet acceptance was a testament to her dedication to institutional health, placing the common good above personal honors. This decision could not have been made without the full approval of King Charles III. His support for the Duke's choice demonstrates a unified strategic vision at the highest levels of the royal family. The king understands that the future strength of the monarchy lies in the family of the Prince of Wales. By elevating Catherine to such a position of visibility and prestige, he is proactively strengthening the foundations for the reign of his son Prince William, ensuring a seamless and popular transition of power for decades to come. For Catherine, taking on this role is more than an honor. It is a burden of legacy. She is acutely aware that she is stepping into a position held by great historical figures. Her responsibility now is not just to wear the velvet cape and badge. It is to uphold the core values of the order: loyalty, courage, and service, and pass them on to the next generation. The pressure is immense, but her calm and quiet determination show that she is up to the challenge. That year's Garter Day ceremony will be remembered not just for its splendor, but for the quiet revolution it represented. The handing of the reins of power to Catherine rather than Camilla was a subtle but tectonic shift in the royal power structure. It signaled that merit, public support, and strategic relevance could now carry as much weight as traditional rank and lineage. This was a monarchy adapting to survive, realizing that relevance was as important as ceremony. With the passing of the baton, the Duke of Kent and Catherine's relationship entered a new phase. He was no longer a figurehead, but an advisor, a living repository of wisdom that Catherine could draw upon. Their private conversations, already precious, would be deepened as he passed on the nuances of leading such an ancient institution. His guidance would be invaluable as Catherine sought to make her own mark without diluting centuries of legacy. The decision was a masterstroke of public relations. It positioned Catherine, one of the most beloved members of the royal family, at the heart of one of the nation's oldest traditions. It instantly made the Order of the Garter more relevant and appealing to a modern public. It sent a clear message: the monarchy is not a relic of the past, but a living, evolving institution led by people the public admires and trusts. The appointment is also a lesson in the division of soft power. Rather than concentrating all the most important ceremonial roles on the king and queen, the decision has spread influence. Queen Camilla continues to shine in her role supporting the king and her own charitable activities, while Catherine now has a separate prestigious platform to work from. This division allows both powerful women to maximize their influence in separate areas, strengthening the entire royal structure. The world is watching to see what Catherine will bring to the role. Will she use her platform to highlight everyday heroes who embody the values of service and courage in their communities? Will she launch educational programs to connect young people with the Order's rich history? Whatever she chooses, there is no doubt that her combination of compassion, intelligence, and modern thinking will breathe new life into the Order of the Garter, ensuring its survival and growth for generations to come. A new chapter has been opened in the history of the British royal family, and this decision is sure to make people think. Catherine is now not only an important member of the royal family, but also taking on a significant responsibility. What changes will this shift bring to the future of the monarchy? Let's continue to follow the developments and see how this decision impacts the royal family. Thank you for watching the video. If you found it interesting, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more captivating videos about the royal family and other dramatic stories. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Queen Camilla enraged. After Kate caught wearing Diana's most treasured jewelry, the royal drama just got even more intense. Queen Camilla is absolutely furious after Kate was spotted wearing one of Princess Diana's most cherished pieces of jewelry. What does this mean for the royal family? Is this just an innocent gesture or a bold statement? What do you think this move means for the royal dynamics? If you think Kate's decision is a game changer, leave a 1 in the comments. If you're not sure, leave a 0 and let's discuss. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all the latest royal drama. Let's dive into this story now. Last night at the grandest royal party of the year, a special moment captured everyone's attention when Duchess Kate stepped out wearing the tiara most beloved by Princess Diana. While everyone had expected a quiet evening, that moment completely shifted the atmosphere. Kate in the sparkling tiara silenced the entire room, and instantly all eyes were on her. Was it just a piece of jewelry or a powerful message filled with love and royal memories? This left many people pondering. The tiara was not just a beautiful accessory, it also evoked memories of a deeply meaningful past. When Duchess Kate entered Diana's tiara, not only made her look stunning, but also sparked powerful memories of the late princess. Kate's appearance in this tiara was not merely a fashion choice. It served as a reminder of Princess Diana's lasting influence and her indelible presence in royal history. As soon as Queen Camilla entered the room, she looked flawless in her own tiara. However, her gaze quickly landed on the tiara atop Kate's head. A brief moment of hesitation appeared in her steps, her smile fading, and it was only after that everyone could sense a shift in the atmosphere. Camilla tried to hide her emotions, but those nearby noticed that she was deeply moved. For the first time, the tiara wasn't just jewelry. It evoked memories of a past and a legacy of a woman she could never replace. This tiara is not only beautiful, but also carries with it a deeply emotional history. For those who understand royal traditions, they know that every piece of jewelry holds profound significance. This tiara, once belonging to Diana, is now more than just an ornamental item. It is a symbol of love, memory, and greatness. When Kate wore that tiara, everything suddenly became quiet, solemn, as if it conveyed a message that Camilla could not deny. For Camilla, that tiara was not just a simple piece of jewelry. It symbolized a relationship, a legacy that she could never have. When she noticed Diana's tiara on Kate's head, emotions surged within her. It was more than just a choice of adornment. That tiara was a clear sign of Kate's position within the royal family, and that reality made Camilla uncomfortable. Although she always maintained grace and elegance, it was undeniable that the tiara had stirred an inevitable confrontation within her. In the end, the tiara shone not only with its stunning diamonds, but also carried an unspoken message. It was a reflection of the past, of memories of Diana that no one could replace. For Camilla, this tiara was a profound message she could not respond to, as that legacy and love will always belong to Diana. When Kate wore the tiara, everything felt more intimate and personal than ever before. It was not just a piece of jewelry, it was a reminder of what has passed and of the things that will never change. The knot tiara is not just a sparkling piece of jewelry, but it also carries a deep and painful meaning. When Duchess Catherine wore this tiara, it was not just a symbol of royal beauty, but also a reminder of the unforgettable memories of Princess Diana. This tiara had once been Diana's favorite piece, worn during some of her most memorable moments, and as Catherine donned it, the atmosphere around them seemed to grow heavier. It didn't just shine with sparkling diamonds, but also revived a past that many thought had been forgotten. For Queen Camilla, that tiara is a reminder of a role she was never allowed to step into, though she has become queen consort. It's undeniable that the past between Diana and Charles still haunts her. When she saw Catherine wearing Diana's tiara, Camilla couldn't help but feel a deep discomfort. The tiara was not just jewelry, but a symbol of the greatness and love that Diana had once received. For Camilla, it was a painful message reminding her that no matter how much time passes, the public's affection will always remain with Diana. The knot tiara is not just a beautiful piece of royal jewelry, but it also carries the weight of a legacy. Many in the palace believe this tiara was Diana's invisible shield, making her strong even in her most difficult moments. When Catherine wore this tiara, it wasn't just a fashion choice, it was a reimagining of a story that has become embedded in the hearts of the public. For Camilla, seeing Catherine wear Diana's tiara might have felt like an unavoidable reminder that she would never inherit that legacy. When Catherine wore the tiara, it wasn't just the admiring gazes at her beauty, but also a profound sense of the connection the tiara symbolized. It evoked memories of Diana and what she had brought to the royal family. While Camilla may have the right to wear royal jewelry, the emotional bond Catherine shares with the public cannot be replicated. It's not just an accessory. That tiara is a story the public still cherishes, a story tied to the grace and affection that Diana created. So how did this tiara end up in the hands of Duchess Catherine? When Queen Elizabeth passed away, the palace announced that her private jewelry collection would be divided according to a strict royal procedure. Camilla, as queen consort, was given the first choice, but the knot tiara was not one she had the right to possess. It wasn't a personal favor, but a royal protocol. In this process, the selection of jewelry was determined by rank and status, and this special tiara was granted to Catherine. When Duchess Catherine stepped in and wore Diana's knot tiara, no one could have predicted that this tiara would not belong to Camilla, who was expected to be the one granted the royal jewelry. Regarded as a symbol of power and love, this tiara was not just an accessory, but a reimagining of a past tied to Diana. However, when the tiara was passed to Catherine, many in the palace were surprised. The unspoken connection between Queen Elizabeth and Catherine made this transfer even more significant. Perhaps the queen wished to honor her daughter-in-law, but others believe this decision had been made long before Camilla began selecting her own royal jewelry. As soon as images of Catherine wearing Diana's beloved tiara were shared, the public immediately expressed their admiration. Many compared her to Diana, and some even believed she was a reflection of the late princess. The praise and comparisons were not only about her appearance, but also the spiritual connection Catherine conveyed. For Camilla, this was far from easy. After years of striving to be accepted by the public, seeing people honor another woman wearing the jewelry so closely tied to Diana was a great challenge. Though Camilla tried to project confidence, it was undeniable that a wave of hurt rose within her. Although Camilla stands at the highest rank in the royal family, Catherine's appearance in the tiara shifted the balance of power. Catherine wasn't just wearing a piece of jewelry, she earned the admiration and love of the public. People didn't just see a princess, but they felt the connection between Catherine and Diana. Meanwhile, Camilla, despite holding an official title, seemed to fade into the background. The tiara was not just an item, it symbolized a shift in influence within the royal family. Catherine had captured the public's heart while Camilla faced the challenge of maintaining her position. Camilla, unwilling to stay silent, reacted to this shift at the next royal event. She stepped out wearing a different tiara. The Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a precious piece once beloved by Queen Elizabeth. This was Camilla's way of proving that she could still represent the stability and tradition of the royal heritage. However, even though she maintained her graceful demeanor and pride with this tiara, the public's attention remained elsewhere. Everyone's gaze was still on Catherine, who had captured the moment with Diana's tiara. Although the tiara Camilla wore still sparkled under the lights, the public's attention was not on it. People no longer discussed the value or beauty of the diamonds in Camilla's tiara. Instead, they remained fixated on the image of Catherine wearing Diana's tiara. This highlights that despite Camilla wearing valuable royal jewelry, the emotions and significance behind them could not compare to the tiara of Diana, a piece of jewelry that is intertwined with a story the public continues to cherish. The difference between Camilla and Catherine is not just about the jewelry, but also how each woman carries the royal legacy. Catherine didn't just wear the tiara, she embraced it and became an inseparable part of Diana's story. For Camilla, things seem more challenging because despite her power and title, Catherine has effortlessly earned the public's affection. This isn't just about the tiara. It's about the bond Catherine has forged with the people. When Duchess Catherine stepped in wearing Diana's beloved tiara, the world immediately responded with admiration and strong emotion. The public didn't just see Catherine wearing a sparkling royal accessory, but also felt a deep connection between her and Diana. This created a stark contrast with Camilla, who may also wear beautiful tiaras, but fails to evoke the same emotional connection as Catherine. Although Camilla holds a high position and official title, the moment Catherine wore that tiara showed that love and public admiration cannot always be measured by rank. For Camilla, seeing Catherine wear Diana's tiara may have brought deep pain. Despite her efforts to appear confident and assert her position, the public's attention was not on her. People continued to compare her to a woman who was no longer here, and this is perhaps what hurt Camilla the most. While she has earned the title of Queen Consort and possesses other magnificent tiaras, the emotional connection the public has with Catherine remains much stronger. In the royal family, it's not just beauty that matters, but strict rules about who can wear a tiara. Each tiara is not just jewelry. It carries the weight of tradition and power. When Catherine wore Diana's tiara, it was not just an acceptance of a royal accessory, but a statement of her role in the royal family. Royal protocols dictate that once a tiara is bestowed upon a royal woman, it belongs to her forever. This means that when Catherine received Diana's tiara, Camilla could never have it, not even once. This transfer was not just about power, but about emotion and the connection with the public. What do you think about this royal rule? Does Catherine wearing Diana's crown carry a deeper message about power and her connection with the public? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think it's a worthy gesture or a sign of shifting power within the royal family? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. When Catherine wore Diana's tiara, it wasn't just the sparkling diamonds, but the memories of a woman the public has never forgotten. Each time Catherine appeared with this tiara, she not only displayed elegance and beauty, but also inherited Diana's legacy. People didn't just see a beautiful tiara, they felt the spirit and heart of Diana through Catherine. That's why every time Catherine wears this tiara, the public senses Diana's strong presence as a continuation of the legacy she left behind. This shift is not just about the tiara or the jewelry, but about the recognition and affection the public has for these two women. While Camilla holds power and a title, it is undeniable that Catherine with Diana's tiara has won the hearts of the people. This highlights a change in influence and the significance of royal symbols. Camilla may have advanced far within the royal family, but Catherine has proven that status doesn't always compare to the love and admiration the public feels for an individual. Duchess Catherine, without saying a word, captured the hearts of the public when she wore Diana's tiara. It wasn't just a sparkling piece of jewelry. It evoked powerful emotions tied to an unforgettable past, and now it seems to belong to Catherine. The admiration the public has for her is not something she strives to earn. It is the result of her composure, ability to maintain grace under pressure, and her charitable work. Catherine not only inherits Diana's legacy, but also continues to build a deep connection with the public, a bond that Camilla has struggled to achieve. Although Camilla fought hard to secure her position beside King Charles, the public has not embraced her with the same warmth as they have Catherine. This became even more evident when Catherine wore Diana's tiara. While Camilla may wear a tiara just as magnificent, it doesn't evoke the same powerful emotions as when Catherine wears that one. This difference must have been painful, as despite Camilla's power and title, she still cannot earn the love and admiration that Catherine has. It's not just about the tiara, it's about how the world perceives these two women. The tiara is not just royal jewelry, but carries deep emotional power. Each tiara in the royal family has its own set of rules, with only those of high status allowed to wear them. Once a tiara is bestowed upon a royal woman, it stays with her for life. For Catherine, Diana's tiara is not only a beautiful piece of jewelry, but a symbol of love, sacrifice, and spiritual connection. In contrast, for Camilla, while she may wear other valuable tiaras, the affection the public has for Catherine cannot be replicated. The lover's knot tiara is not just a piece of jewelry, but a symbol of a broken love and an unforgettable legacy. First created in 1914, the tiara was selected by Queen Mary and later given to Princess Diana by Queen Elizabeth II as a wedding gift. Diana wore this tiara at important events and during some of the most challenging moments of her life. Though the tiara sparkled, it was also heavy and difficult to wear, much like the challenging life Diana faced within the royal family. Yet she wore it with grace, and over time, this tiara became a symbol of her quiet strength. After Diana's passing, the tiara disappeared from the public eye as if it too carried the sorrow of her loss. However, in 2015, Something unexpected happened when Duchess Catherine wore Diana's tiara. That moment shocked royal watchers as if Diana returned not physically but spiritually. Catherine wasn't just wearing a royal tiara, she revived the deep emotions and memories of Diana. For the public, this tiara wasn't just about style or the sparkle of diamonds. It was about the rebirth of Diana's spirit and legacy, making it all the more special and meaningful. Although Camilla holds the title of Queen Consort and power within the royal family, public acceptance is something she has yet to achieve to the extent Catherine has. She may have the tiara's estates and all the royal ceremonies, but the affection and admiration the public has for Catherine cannot be compared. Each time Catherine appears wearing Diana's tiara, the public doesn't just see her as a duchess, but as someone continuing Diana's legacy. This cannot be bought with rank or title. It is only the result of a genuine emotional connection, something Camilla will never have. When Duchess Catherine wore Diana's lover's knot tiara, it wasn't just the appearance of a sparkling royal accessory, but a deeply emotional moment. This tiara belonged not only to Diana, but also symbolized love and sacrifice. For the public, the tiara was not just an ornament, but a spiritual connection to the past. When Catherine wore it, people felt that she was not only carrying Diana's story, but also continuing her legacy. This tiara, though not the most expensive piece of jewelry, holds the deepest spiritual value, a part of royal history that only Catherine could continue. Although Camilla is Queen Consort and has the right to choose from the priceless heirlooms of Queen Elizabeth, the lover's knot tiara did not fall into her hands. This caused surprise within the palace, as many thought that Camilla, with her position, would be the first to receive such an item. However, the tiara was given to Duchess Catherine. This decision may have stemmed from Queen Elizabeth's emotional connection to Catherine, or from the quiet support of King Charles, who likely wanted the memory of his late wife to be preserved through his son's current wife. This was not just about power or titles, but about a deep emotional connection. Royal treasures are not just about the value of the items, but also about the stories and meanings behind them. Duchess Catherine has received many precious items from Queen Elizabeth's collection, such as brooches, necklaces, and accessories linked to Princess Margaret. However, the biggest difference is that emotionally valuable items like Diana's tiara were not passed to Camilla. This not only caused Camilla to be less in the spotlight, but also added a sense of disappointment. Despite enduring many challenges to earn her position as Queen Consort, when the moment to shine came, it was Catherine who stepped into the light, having captured the hearts of the public. Catherine didn't just wear Diana's tiara, she became the one to carry on Diana's legacy within the royal family. People didn't just see a tiara, they felt Diana's spirit and kindness through Catherine. The admiration for Catherine comes not just from her outer beauty, but from her grace and ability to remain composed under pressure. When Catherine wore that tiara, the public didn't just see a duchess. They saw Diana revived in a new generation, continuing to shine and bring sincere affection to everyone. Although Camilla holds official power and a grand tiara, the public's attention still doesn't focus on her in the same way it does on Catherine. Each time Catherine wears Diana's tiara, people don't just see a duchess. They feel a deep connection to an invaluable legacy. Camilla may wear precious royal tiaras, but it's undeniable that the public's affection for Catherine cannot be measured by power or title. That's why every time Catherine appears with this tiara, it tells an emotional story that no one can deny. The lover's knot tiara, though just a piece of jewelry, carries with it a story full of emotion and history. Created in 1914 and originally intended for Queen Mary, it was passed down to Queen Elizabeth II and later gifted to Princess Diana. This tiara was not only a wedding gift but became a symbol of Diana's strength and resilience during her difficult years within the royal family. And when Catherine wears this tiara, the public doesn't just see a beautiful duchess. They feel a powerful continuation of Diana's legacy, an irreplaceable presence in the hearts of the people. When Duchess Catherine wore Diana's lover's knot tiara, it wasn't just the appearance of a piece of jewelry, but an emotional moment. The natural way she wore the tiara, her composure and posture immediately reminded everyone of Princess Diana. Unlike someone trying to copy Diana's legacy, Catherine is truly continuing it, something that Camilla cannot do. While Camilla may wear dazzling jewelry, the lover's knot tiara, with all its emotion, will always be something she cannot reach. When Catherine wore this tiara, the public's reaction couldn't have been clearer. People began comparing Catherine to Diana, calling her the princess of the modern people, and even dubbing her Queen 2.0. This sentiment could deeply hurt Camilla, as despite her power and title as queen consort, Catherine's light seems to shine brighter. Camilla may wear other tiaras and attend grand events, but when Catherine wears Diana's tiara, all attention is on her. For many, this contrast is no coincidence. It's a silent rivalry between two royal women, and it's clear that Catherine has captured the world's attention. This piece of jewelry is not just a magnificent royal artifact, but also a powerful spiritual symbol. Diana's lover's knot tiara carries with it a deeply emotional and meaningful story. When Catherine wore this tiara, the public didn't just see a beautiful accessory. They felt Diana's spirit continuing to live through her. This isn't just about material value or the sparkle of diamonds. It's about the spiritual connection Catherine has built with the public. People didn't just see a duchess, but someone who is carrying on Diana's legacy. Although Camilla may hold power and a title, the sense of public recognition that Catherine enjoys seems to always be out of her reach. This event is not just about the tiara. It's a reflection of how the world perceives her. Catherine doesn't need to fight for the love and admiration of the public. She naturally earns it through her grace and virtue. While Camilla has struggled for years to gain acceptance, Catherine has obtained it all in just one moment. When Queen Elizabeth II passed away, her jewelry collection was carefully divided following strict rules. Camilla, as queen consort, had the right to choose from the valuable items first. However, the lover's knot tiara did not go to her but was instead given to Catherine. This not only surprised many but also raised the question of whether this was a decision made by Queen Elizabeth before her passing or if it was a choice quietly supported by King Charles. Those within the palace believe that Queen Elizabeth made this decision based on her strong affection for Catherine and her belief that Catherine was truly the one to continue Diana's legacy. Although Camilla spent many years proving herself and ultimately achieved the position of queen consort, the moment Catherine wore the lover's knot tiara, the public turned away from Camilla. Despite Camilla holding power and a title, she could not capture the admiration of the public in the same way Catherine did. This event was not only a standout moment for Catherine, but also a significant shift in how the public perceives the two women within the royal family. For many, Catherine is now the new symbol of the monarchy, while Camilla seems to remain on the outside, unable to ever truly possess that affection. The moment Catherine wore Diana's tiara was not just a formal act, but a revival of Diana in a new generation. It wasn't just about the tiara or its material value, but about the emotions it evoked. Royal watchers didn't just see Catherine wearing a royal piece of jewelry. They felt Diana's presence through her. That emotion, that connection, is something Camilla can never achieve, no matter how many precious tiaras she wears. What do you think about this surprising moment? Do you believe Kate's decision to wear Princess Diana's most cherished heirloom was a sign of respect or a subtle message to Camilla? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on more royal drama. We'll see you in the next video with more juicy details. Hey everyone, get ready for a major shock. The death of Princess Diana remains an unhealed pain, but maybe we've never truly understood it fully. Imagine Prince William and Harry, two strong men, breaking down in tears as the unimaginable is revealed before their eyes. King Charles has unveiled a secret kept hidden for decades, Princess Diana's final wish. A heartfelt and powerful letter that could overturn everything they ever thought about their mother, the royal family, and even the monarchy itself. Why was this wish kept hidden? What does it mean for the two brothers torn apart by their past? This isn't just a royal revelation, it's a moment that could shake the very foundation of the British monarchy. If you find this story surprising, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Don't forget to like the video and hit subscribe to support the channel. Let's enjoy the video together. Behind the closed doors of Clarence House, the official residence of King Charles, away from the prying eyes of the media, a moment unfolded that would forever change the course of royal history. King Charles, in a rare and deeply emotional gesture, opened a private safe. The safe is said to have remained untouched for many years. Inside, instead of royal artifacts or state documents, there was a sealed envelope bearing the handwriting of Princess Diana. Charles called his two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Handing them the envelope, he uttered an emotional statement. "This is your mother's final wish. She wrote this for you." The room fell into a heavy silence. This was a letter that had been hidden from them for over 2 decades. Charles did not need to explain further. Inside the envelope was a handwritten letter from Diana, written just weeks before her death. Only Charles and his most trusted aide knew of its existence until now. The contents of the letter revealed a side of Diana's final thoughts that had been kept hidden, a wish for the future of her sons, free from the constraints of royalty. It wasn't about jewelry, titles, or royal duties. It was about freedom, protection, and love. "She wanted us to live as normal people first," Harry is said to have remarked after reading it. For William, that moment was deeply personal. This was not just a letter to him. He saw it as a final message from the mother he had lost too soon. A woman silenced by the very world she had tried to change. But I did not realize how overwhelming that attention would become, nor how it would affect both my public duties and my personal life in ways that would be almost unbearable. She wanted them to live a free life. This revelation sparked emotions and raised important questions. Why did Charles keep the letter hidden? What had Diana requested in those final lines? The answers to these questions set off a chain of reactions within the family, threatening to alter the future of the monarchy itself. This was more than they could bear. They were about to uncover deeper secrets that could reshape the legacy of the British royal family. Stay tuned, because what you are about to learn could change everything you thought you knew about Princess Diana and the monarchy. Diana's wish was for her sons to be free. The letter was brief, but its impact resonated deeply at the very core of the monarchy. Written in the unmistakable handwriting of Princess Diana just weeks before her death, this final message was not about accumulating wealth or gaining grand titles. It wasn't even about seeking revenge on those who had wronged her. It was a heartfelt plea from a mother, urgent, emotional, and unforgettable. According to a close aide, the letter reads in part, "Let them live without fear. Let them be themselves." These words were meant for her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. They were truly the center of her world. They were the reason she endured every cold dinner, every public betrayal, and every tear shed in silence. Diana feared the palace would turn them into statues, polished, distant, and emotionally repressed. She had witnessed what it did to Charles and to the generations before him. The monarchy did not teach its heirs how to feel. It taught them to elevate their performance no matter the cost. Diana didn't want that for her sons. "I don't want them to be trapped in a life they didn't build for themselves," she wrote. "They must be free to love, free to feel free to lead without wearing a mask." That was truly radical. Stay with us, because what's coming next will make you question everything you thought you knew about Princess Diana's legacy. There are too many coincidences, too many strange things that don't add up. Everything seems suspicious. Don't miss it. It was emotional. It was completely Diana. She knew that one day William would bear the weight of the crown, and Harry, as the second son, would carry something even heavier, the feeling of being seen as the spare. Diana worried that both would be shaped by duty rather than desire, that the expectations would erode their true selves. This wasn't about rebellion. This was about protection. As the world closed in around them, their self-esteem dissolved into the fog of loneliness and despair. As they increasingly withdrew from those who could help, Diana lived through what she described as the emotional void of the monarchy. She had begged for warmth only to receive rules in return. She needed support and was met with complete silence in return. She became the most photographed woman in the world, yet still felt completely unseen. She didn't want that story to repeat, but what shocked William and Harry the most was not just their mother's wish. It was realizing that their father had kept it hidden for over 20 years. The letter was sealed, placed in a separate file, and buried under layers of official paperwork in Charles's personal safe. Why? According to insiders, Charles feared what Diana's words would do not just to the public image of the monarchy, but to its fragile structure behind the scenes. If Diana's final wish was for her sons to renounce the control of the royal family, how could the institution possibly survive? Some palace aides claimed Charles was concerned that it would encourage Harry to continue his estrangement and sow dangerous doubts in William's mind. Others believe it wasn't about protection at all. It was about power, about control. Whatever the reason, the damage had been done. The truth had been exposed. Now both brothers were forced to confront a reality that had been hidden from them throughout their adult lives. But for William, the impact was even deeper. Diana didn't just write a letter for both of her sons. In 2004, during a quiet renovation at one of Diana's homes, an unexpected discovery was made. A letter buried for years had been forgotten between the pages of Diana's personal album. This letter, unlike anything the royal family had ever seen, was addressed specifically to Prince William. It was not a public statement or an official communication. It was deeply personal, a raw and intimate conversation between mother and son. When William read those words, it is said to have shattered him. The letter revealed something no one outside the family ever fully understood: Diana's deep awareness of the burden her son would one day have to carry. "One day you will be king," she wrote. But what followed was not a call to fulfill duty or a lecture on royal responsibility. It was a plea: "Promise me, my dear, that you will not lose the boy inside you." In that moment, Diana's words cut through the years. The voice of a mother warning her son about what he was about to inherit: the harsh expectations, the pressure to conform, the loss of self that comes with wearing the crown. This becomes even more suspicious when we consider the timing of the letter. It wasn't written in the 1990s, when the relationship between Charles and Diana had exploded into public view, but rather during the quiet tension before the public ever knew about the breakdown of their marriage. Did Charles truly think this way at that time? Who was the letter written to? A trusted advisor within the Church of England? Or perhaps someone closer, like the successor to Lord Mountbatten? Some within the palace claim that this was not a slip of the tongue, but a deliberate and emotional decision. The words in the letter have caused historians to rewrite the royal family's timeline. This leads them to wonder whether this is an early confession of something far larger than we had ever imagined. Could this be the royal cover-up that has persisted for years? The theory that Harry may have been born via a surrogate, once dismissed and silenced for decades, has resurfaced. This idea was ridiculed in the past, but now, with the revelation of the letter, it no longer seems impossible. Perhaps this is the truth the royal family has been trying to conceal for all these years. The words in the letter have changed everything suddenly. What was once unthinkable now not only makes sense, but also seems far too fitting. In the early 1980s, Diana was hospitalized several times under vague circumstances, officially due to stress or private health issues. However, insiders now reveal there were discussions concerning her fertility concerns. Quiet conversations between doctors' aides and royal advisors. If Charles and Diana were as estranged at that time as many suggest and a public heir was needed, could the crown have arranged for a surrogate behind closed doors? The palace holds power and motive. All it requires is secrecy. Charles's words, not hers from the very beginning, take on a different meaning now. When considering a surrogate, Diana may have been asked to raise the child, playing the role of a mother without any biological connection. This could explain the letter and her long silence. Royal experts now suggest that this theory is no longer just speculation, but may explain the emotional distance, even the lifelong sense of disconnection that Harry has always felt. If that's Charles trying to put into words what he's struggled with for years, many close to the royal family have noted that the relationship between Charles and Harry has always been strained. Public events unfolded formally, but lacked warmth, and the colder tone became more apparent as Harry grew older. Some attribute this to generational differences, but insiders see something else: emotional avoidance. A former palace aide reflected, "Charles seemed to never know how to emotionally connect with Harry, as if he wanted to, but didn't know whether he should." The royal family has always operated in a world of strict rules and quiet traditions. They keep their personal struggles private and expect everyone in the family to do the same. They resist change, cling to old traditions, and avoid public displays of emotion. But Diana didn't follow that path. She opened up about her pain, she bravely admitted to the isolation she felt, and she spoke about the overwhelming burden of being a royal in a way that no one had dared to talk about before. And because of her honesty, the public loved her all the more. Prince Edward, calm as ever, saw it all unfold. He saw how the royal family struggled to keep up, while Diana's openness connected her to the people in ways the royal family could not. Her truth not only revealed her own struggles, it exposed the backwardness of the monarchy. For generations, the family had carefully shaped how the world saw them. They kept their image polished and aloof, but Diana could not be managed or contained. Her sincerity, the very thing that endeared her to everyone, also became the greatest threat to the old royal system. She made people feel something real, something personal, and that made her more than just a difficult royal. It made her a challenge to everything the monarchy had built over the years. The more they tried to silence or limit her, the more it became clear that their grip on the public trust was fraying. But inside Buckingham, the palace remains in absolute silence. Silence without statements, without explanations. Just quiet corridors, tense meetings, and growing panic. Behind that silence, insiders say it's fear. Why? Because this isn't just about one letter. It's about what else could be out there. A royal source confirms that a private crisis management team has been reactivated, similar to the team used during Meghan and Harry's interview with Oprah. Their new task to control leaks, manage the fallout, and uncover the original documents. There are whispers now that more letters may have been sent to Diana, to William, or even to Harry himself. If just one more document surfaces, it could be a disaster, not only emotionally but legally, as questions about inheritance titles and royal succession laws could be raised. Prince William has known the truth. He has kept it hidden all these years. But if he knows and remains silent, then it's no longer just a family secret. It's a betrayal that could tear them apart forever. The pressure of knowing this truth, Prince William, the heir and the face of the modern monarchy, has been raised from birth to lead. But after this letter, his silence is beginning to attract attention and suspicion. Because if this secret was known within the palace, William may have known for a long time. Prince William and Prince Harry, long familiar names in the public eye, have gone through many ups and downs in their lives. However, perhaps nothing compares to the pain of losing their beloved mother, Princess Diana. For both of them, Diana's death was not just a family loss, but a major turning point that changed their lives forever. The truth is, after their mother's passing, the relationship between William and Harry gradually began to fracture. This is not an easy truth to admit, but the discord had been simmering for a long time, and it became one of the factors that led to the significant changes in their lives. William couldn't stop himself as he watched the warmth in his mother's eyes, the way Diana gently tucked Harry's hair behind his ear, and the moment she whispered into his ear, making Harry burst into laughter. Although the words couldn't be heard clearly, the emotion in those gestures conveyed a powerful message. This video was not just a memory, but a door that opened to a past William didn't realize he had buried so deeply. As he watched those moments, he couldn't help but feel the pain of loss, as if a part of the past had slipped away, never to return. Prince William, standing beneath his mother's statue, continued. "My mother's voice has always guided me," he said with a solemnity that made the world seem to pause and listen. It wasn't just a tribute, it was a bearing of his soul, a truth never shared beyond the palace walls. He slowly revealed the words Diana had whispered to him just before she passed, words no one else had heard. William also began to understand the reasons Diana had once fought. Some issues were still evolving while others had quietly faded over time. He reached out, inquiring about everything and wondering if there was anything he could do to help. He wasn't trying to replace Diana, He simply wanted to carry a part of her forward. And that was how to keep kindness alive. Over time, William started thinking about something more lasting, a place to honor Diana in a way that felt authentic. Not a grand monument, not a cold gallery, but something soft, familiar, and personal. He imagined a space filled with fragments of Diana, not just objects, but moments. A peaceful garden or a quiet room adorned with her photographs. A space where people could sit and remember without judgment, where she could feel like herself. Diana did something unprecedented in royal history. She made people feel that the crown was not just a symbol, but something real and warm. For so long, the royal family lived hidden behind layers of rules, distance, and quiet dignity. They were not allowed to appear as ordinary people with emotions and flaws. They were supposed to represent tradition, stability, and history. But Diana turned that idea on its head. She did not hide behind guards or large gates. She was soft, open, and never afraid to show affection in public. Instead of just waving from afar, she walked into the crowd smiling at strangers touching their hands and looking them in the eye with warmth. That gentle intimacy felt new and special. She brought the royal world down to earth, closer to the common man, and people felt more connected to her than ever before. But what seemed beautiful to the public felt dangerous inside the palace. This change was not taken lightly. It shook the royal family to its core. No royal has ever been as naturally and deeply loved as Princess Diana. She did not perform her duties as if they were just a job. Her actions came from her heart. Diana was not just present at official events, but went to hospital beds when others were too afraid to come near. When the world stigmatized people with HIV/AIDS, Diana touched them, hugged them, and made them feel appreciated. She did not need the limelight. She needed real change for those who were suffering. Her trips into landmines were not for show, but to raise awareness and fight for those forgotten in war and conflict. In her efforts to remain authentic, Diana gradually found herself exhausted. Her strength and independence were also her greatest pain. She could no longer force herself to play the role of a silent, smiling royal. She opened up about her pain and showed everyone what life behind the royal curtain was really like. But her family was not prepared for such openness. They did not know how to react to such honesty. And so it leaves us all with an important question: did Diana's approach help the monarchy grow, or did it tear it apart? Read on to find out. The role Diana played. Many believe that Diana gave the royal family a second chance, because before she came along, interest in the monarchy was fading. To the public, it had begun to look like something from the past, rigid, unapproachable, and stuck in its old ways. But when Diana arrived, everything changed. She brought a new energy, a gentle light that drew people back to the royal family. Diana made the royal family feel important again, and whether they accepted it or not, she ushered them into a new chapter of history. Her presence didn't just draw attention. It opened up hidden corners. Some believe that Diana herself uncovered truths that the royal family had tried to keep quiet for years. By speaking openly about the trauma, loneliness, and pressures she faced inside the palace, Diana lifted the veil that had been placed on the monarchy's image of perfection. She showed the world that behind the diamonds and the glittering golden halls lay a closed, cold, and prejudiced place. Her honest words left a deep mark on the public, a truth that long after her death, the British royal family is still struggling to heal. Diana's public life was a performance, a mask she wore for the cameras, the tabloids, and a nation longing for a princess. But in her private diaries, Diana was not performing. She confessed. These pages, never widely published, revealed the painful, raw journey of a woman pushed to the brink. She wrote about her loneliness, her insecurities, and the growing fear that she was losing control of her life. "He hates that they love me more than him," she wrote, referring to Charles and the increasing tension as her fame soared. She spoke openly about her battle with bulimia, her cries for help. "I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an extraordinary and talented person, especially in her dedication to her two sons, and the brutal silence that followed every time she sought support. Yet even in her darkest moments, Diana continued to fight for herself and for her sons. They are the only part of my life that matters," she wrote. "I will not let them become shadows." Diana feared that William and Harry would be used as royal symbols, emotionally distant, obsessed with image, and cut off from the world around them. In hindsight, we can see how prophetic her words were. In her diaries, she warned of emotional repression, the coldness of the monarchy, and a future where love would be hidden behind titles. However, her honesty gave her son something that most royal family members never received the right to be vulnerable. Her diaries, combined with her final letter, formed a resonant and clear message. Protect love over legacy. Protect the heart over hierarchy. Diana's final wish was not just to secure the future of her sons. It was about ensuring they stayed true to themselves, that they didn't become prisoners of the cold traditions of the monarchy. Now Diana's final wish is no longer a secret. The entire monarchy is at a pivotal moment that will shape its future. This is no longer just a private family drama. It has become a test for everything the crown represents and what it will evolve into. Will Prince William follow the path of the kings before him, or will he embrace the vision Diana laid out, a monarchy led by compassion, not ego? The weight of that decision now rests heavily on his shoulders. Will this shared truth bring them back together? Or is the gap between them too wide, with too many words spoken and too little forgiveness? The palace has yet to make an official statement, and don't expect one anytime soon. But make no mistake, everything has changed. The Queen is gone. Charles is growing older, and the next generation of the royal family is rising under the shadow of a woman who challenged the system and paid the ultimate price for it. And that's all we want to share about Princess Diana's mysterious and moving letter. Her legacy lives on, continuing to shape not only the lives of her two sons, but also the future of the British royal family. The biggest question remains unanswered: will William and Harry, despite walking two different paths, be able to fully honor their mother's final wish? Or will this truth continue to be a rift between them? If this story has touched your heart, don't forget to like and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about Diana's legacy and the future of the monarchy. And to not miss other untold royal stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Thank you for watching. What if a single ring hidden for decades turned out to be the key to the final message from Diana? When Prince William opened his mother's old jewelry box, he discovered a secret he never could have imagined. An inscription in Latin, a whisper from the past one that only those involved could understand. Do you want to know why this made William remain silent? Join us as we uncover the story of the forgotten jewelry box through time. What do you think about the secret gift that Prince William discovered? Could it be a message Princess Diana wanted to pass on to her family? Leave a 1 if you're curious about royal secrets, and if not, leave a 0. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on the exciting videos coming up. It all didn't begin with a grand ceremony or royal decisions. It began in a peaceful and quiet moment. At Althorpe House, where Diana spent her childhood and where she rests for eternity, Prince William stood in a room that had remained untouched for decades. The silence was profound, and the golden rays of the afternoon sun streamed through the window, casting light on the dust particles floating in the air. In front of William was a simple velvet box, once belonging to the woman the world admired, the mother he called by one simple name, Mum. He had expected to find a crown, a pearl necklace, or sparkling sapphire stones, the precious items Diana often wore to grand ceremonies. But when he opened the box, the shimmering light of ancestral treasures was no longer there. Instead, he discovered something far more intimate and simple, an ivory-colored envelope showing signs of age gently tinged with yellow. The inscription on the envelope, written by his mother's hand, was clearly not meant for the public. William, his name, written in Diana's own delicate handwriting. There was no royal wax seal, no official stationery, just the gentle words of a mother. Prince William was stunned. He opened the envelope, his hands trembling. As the envelope unfolded, it revealed not only a ring, but also a message full of meaning. The deep emerald ring, intricately designed, was unlike any of the other jewelry Diana had ever owned. But the most important part lay in the note inside, written with a clear sense of responsibility for the one who would carry on both tradition and ideals. This was not just a piece of jewelry. It was a symbol, a compass, a final reminder of the mission Diana had nurtured. Upon closer inspection, Prince William noticed the Latin inscription engraved on the ribbon inside the ring, Veritas Lux. Truth is my light. It was a message meant for the one who would bear this immense responsibility. The ring was not just a piece of jewelry. It was an eternal symbol, a guiding light for a future that Diana would never witness. This jewelry box had been kept at Althorpe for many years, under the care of Diana's brother, Earl Charles Spencer. It was hidden in a room that no one was allowed to enter. For years, no one knew the contents of the box. Then one day, when the family began a project to catalog Diana's personal belongings, the box was discovered. But what had been concealed all these years now raised countless unanswered questions. Why was this ring separated from Diana's other royal jewelry? Why did no one in the monarchy, where everything is protected and monitored, know about its existence? And most importantly, why did Diana leave it for William alone? Some say that when he discovered the ring, he was moved to tears. Others recount that William remained silent for hours, saying nothing. But one thing is certain: when he left that room, his state of mind had completely changed. It was not for wealth, nor for status, but for the voice of a mother echoing through time, meant for the child who would carry the weight of both tradition and truth. What did Diana see that was about to happen? What was she afraid of? And what did she know that no one else did? Though the box had been forgotten by time, the message inside now shines like a lighthouse, lighting every path ahead. Stay tuned, as what William uncovers next could change the fate of the royal family forever. Princess Charlotte, though born into royalty, has grown up in a world full of complexities where legacies are quietly creating a battlefield. On the surface, her world seems to sparkle with crowns, festivities, and grand ceremonies. But beneath that glamorous exterior, a silent tension is waiting to erupt, a tension that began long before she was born. Charlotte, whether aware or not, stands between two royal women who have never shared the throne, yet their shadows are deeply etched upon it. On one side is Princess Diana, a name forever tied to tears and public applause. To the public, she was a symbol of compassion and courage. But to William, Diana was more than just a symbol. She was a mother, a presence that has always lingered in his life. Family moments from old photographs to tapes with her voice continue to live vividly in his memory. On the other side is Queen Camilla, the woman who married into the royal family but has never escaped the scrutinizing gaze. Her image, always meticulously groomed, does not bring warm smiles, but seems to lack depth. Her relationship with William's children, though cordial, lacks the warmth of a true family. There are no spontaneous hugs, no laughter around the kitchen table. While she is very close to her biological grandchildren with George, Charlotte, and Louis, the connection feels distant with visits always carefully planned. Interactions among the royal family often seem carefully staged. In contrast, Charlotte quietly absorbs everything around her. Those close to the family describe her as a child who observes keenly always, noticing changes in tone and habits, listening more than speaking. Though just 9 years old, she has already earned the title of the most perceptive child in the family. Perhaps this is why the recent whispers about a quiet murmur, an obvious hesitation, and the subtle distance between Charlotte and Camilla have sparked such curiosity. Has Charlotte sensed the divide, felt its weight? Has she perhaps unknowingly started to empathize with the grandmother she never met, but seems to understand on a deep, instinctual level? William and Catherine have always strived to raise their children with emotional awareness, cherishing their feelings and encouraging them to speak the truth gently. But what happens when that instinct is torn between royal duty and personal truth? Charlotte's life will always be torn between royal duty and the personal truths she must face. But it is through her choices, the people she turns to, and what she says when the cameras aren't looking that something deeper is being revealed. Charlotte may still be young, but in this royal family story, she is far from a supporting character. The loyalty she is beginning to form may shape the future of the monarchy in ways more powerful than anyone could imagine. For decades, Camilla Parker Bowles has lived in the shadow of royal history. She was a name rarely mentioned, a controversial figure. However, now Camilla wears the crown officially crowned as queen and standing alongside King Charles in the historic responsibility she must bear. Despite this acceptance of her remains a challenging task. The title may have been granted, but trust and recognition from the people must be built and nurtured over time. Inside the palace, Camilla's path has never been smooth. Her relationship with Prince William remains one of politeness and outward respect, yet emotionally distant. Though William has never openly criticized her, he has also never publicly shown affection for her. That silence speaks volumes, and the true tension lies not only in William's heart, but also in the hearts of his children. With her own grandchildren, Camilla is said to be very dedicated often, organizing garden picnics, handing out sweets, and telling bedtime stories. However, with George, Charlotte, and Louis, there is a clear distance in their relationship. There are no cozy photos, no cheerful anecdotes, only moments that seem staged where warmth is implied but never truly demonstrated. And in Charlotte's case, Camilla's absence at significant events becomes even more apparent. At public ceremonies, Camilla rarely interacts with her grandchildren. Private family gatherings seldom show the closeness between her and her grandchildren either. While Catherine always nurtures a connection, Camilla maintains a certain distance, creating a boundary that is not born of malice, but perhaps uncertainty. It seems that even now she is unsure of her place in the hearts of the future generation. But children are incredibly perceptive, especially Charlotte. And that's when the whisper appeared. A whisper accidentally picked up by the microphone. Although it wasn't meant for the headlines, it was still published. What did Charlotte say in that moment? Some believe it was a comment on Camilla's behavior. Others think it was a question and accidental doubt voiced aloud. Whatever the words, they struck a chord with those who heard them, because they showed that even children within the royal family can sense the divide. Camilla may not have intentionally caused harm, but legacy is not shaped by intention, it is shaped by impact. And if a child raised in a family that values truth and emotions starts to feel discord, coldness, and isolation, what does that say about the unity of the royal family? Camilla's journey to the throne may be complete, but the path for her to earn the affection of the next generation remains filled with questions. The smallest royal woman in this room may just be the one holding the answers. The shadow of Diana still lingers faint, but ever present. She passed away nearly 3 decades ago, yet the influence of Princess Diana has never faded, especially within the Wales family. To the public, she is a symbol of compassion and rebellion. To her grandchildren, she is a legendary figure, not a ghost, not a memory, but something vivid, profound. With Charlotte, the presence of Diana, though long gone, remains particularly vivid. It all began with the stories softly told before bedtime passed down by William and Catherine like family heirlooms. William says that Diana would have loved the laughter of her children. She was courageous, kind, and always spoke the truth. Catherine strengthens Diana's legacy through the charities bearing her name and teaches the children about empathy rather than mere politeness. Charlotte carries Diana's name, and she radiates a fiery beauty, a powerful continuation of a legacy. Observers have long remarked on the striking similarities between Charlotte and Diana, the tilted chin, sharp eyes, and emotions that are never concealed. But more importantly, it is the emotional intelligence, the sense of justice, and the quiet refusal to conform that make the connection between her and Diana undeniable. When Charlotte appears before the public, she exudes calmness and independence, leaving even the most seasoned royal watchers in awe. At the Queen Elizabeth Jubilee, Charlotte did not merely wave. She made a powerful statement with her mischievous smile and knowing gaze, as if she understood far more than she let on. And then the contrast between the two royal women became more evident than ever. If Diana once brought warmth to the cold palaces, Camilla brings peace but not comfort. She brings stillness, stability, but not the warmth a royal family needs. Charlotte, growing up in the embrace of her grandmother's legacy, can sense that difference. She may not fully understand the entire story, but children don't need the truth to recognize a rift. She knows that one woman in her life is spoken of with love and respect, while the other is only mentioned with politeness and reserve. That contrast carries weight and is gradually shaping her. Charlotte may never sit on the throne, but she could become a figure of power just as formidable. A moral compass for a monarchy, searching for its soul. And Diana's spirit, she doesn't haunt the palace. She is guiding it through a granddaughter, one who sees through everything and speaks up at the most crucial moments, the silent tensions at palace events. Royal occasions are often designed to impress golden carriages, finely crafted hats, smiles meticulously arranged. This is a high-stakes drama, but for those who watch closely, it's not the dazzling display that matters, it's the moments of silence. A fleeting moment in full regalia, lasting less than 3 seconds, went viral almost instantly. When the royal family gathered on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, Princess Charlotte subtly leaned away from Camilla. It was so slight, almost imperceptible, but the cameras caught it, and the frame was frozen, dissected, and analyzed. This was not an isolated incident. At the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, insiders recalled an exchange that reportedly caused a momentary tension within the family. According to reports, Camilla seemed displeased with a brief whisper between Charlotte and George. This moment escalated behind the scenes. Camilla was said to have requested that Charlotte be removed from the row of seats, but William and Catherine refused. The consequences were not severe, but they were undeniably cold. At the coronation, one of the most watched events in royal history, Charlotte's gesture told a story of its own. She bowed respectfully to her grandfather, but when passing Camilla, there was no gaze, no gesture, only silence. Was this a coincidence or a choice? Time and again these small moments accumulate. There are no public outbursts, no royal scandals, just a series of silences that reveal something deeper. The way Charlotte carries herself, the people she turns to, and those she avoids have not escaped the notice of those within the palace. They might dismiss it as the mood swings of a child, but those who understand the language of legacy see it more clearly. Children reveal truths that adults try to hide. And when a royal child raised in emotional fluency begins to withdraw, even if subtly that withdrawal carries weight, Charlotte may never speak it aloud, but she has already spoken, and what she hasn't said is what rewrites everything, the whisper that started it all. So what do you think about the signs Charlotte is showing? Is she starting to realize what's going on around her? Leave a 1 if you sense that change, or a 0 if you think her actions are still not quite clear. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This was never meant to be heard. Not by the cameras, not by the press, and certainly not by a world still haunted by royal tragedies. But in one careless moment, a whisper from Princess Charlotte broke a long-buried, fractured boundary hidden beneath courtly smiles and carefully rehearsed traditions. It happened at a garden party, the kind of event where powdered sugar on pastries hides subtle tensions, and every step is rehearsed. Charlotte, dressed in blue, stood beside her mother, her calm gaze scanning the crowd with the familiar poise. Then came Queen Camilla, smiling, wearing gloves, radiant in a pastel outfit. And then the whisper. The cameras didn't capture the words, but the reactions of those around her were caught. Catherine subtly turned her head towards her daughter. William's face hardened. Camilla paused for half a second, just enough for seasoned royal watchers to feel it. Something had been said. That evening, experts in lip reading and body language carefully analyzed the footage. A theory emerged among the crowd. Charlotte had asked, "Why is she pretending to be nice?" This has never been confirmed, but it doesn't necessarily need to be. The palace, renowned for its silence on internal matters, declined to comment. But behind those closed doors, that moment has not been forgotten. It was the question of a child holding a painful truth, echoing through the gilded halls and creeping into the hearts of a family still haunted by unspoken wounds. For Charlotte, perhaps it was just curiosity. But for those who lived through Diana's years, it carried a meaning far deeper, a ripple from the past. Because the last time anyone dared to openly question royal appearances in such a way, it was Diana who spoke out through interviews, her gaze, and yes, even her jewelry. and now her granddaughter is quietly rebelling. Not with sensational headlines, but simply with 6 gentle words. Why is she pretending to be nice? It was not an attack. It was a reflection. A child raised to trust her emotions, simply reacting to something she couldn't name, but clearly felt. And in doing so, she may have said what others only thought. Some in the company were said to have urged William and Catherine to tighten the boundaries to prevent the children from absorbing outdated narratives. But others closer to the couple believe it is too late. The legacy lives on in Charlotte. Intuition runs deep. The whisper that started it all has now become a quiet symbol, a warning, a change, a moment when the next generation subtly stepped outside the royal mold. And so Diana's voice has found a new home, not in scandal, not in rebellion, but in a whisper that refuses to be ignored. The atmosphere and the mirror. Prince William once served as the bridge between the old and the new, but now he has become the mirror reflecting the contradictions torn between 2 legacies, one born of duty, the other born of truth. And Charlotte's whisper does not only echo through the palace halls, it has reached him. In the days that followed, William was said to be silent, distant, and contemplative. His aides noticed the change. A close source revealed that it wasn't anger. It was acknowledgement. An acknowledgement that his daughter was seeing what he had learned to bury. An acknowledgement that the past isn't truly the past, and perhaps it never will be, because Charlotte's comment didn't come from defiance. It came from intuition, and William knew exactly where she had inherited that from Diana. He has spent many years trying to balance the legacy of his mother with the institution she once sought to escape. He walks with the bearing of a king, but carries within him the memory of a young man who held her hand through the pain. He married for love, raised his children with emotional sincerity, and leads with compassion. But deep down, he still bears the scars of a family struggling with itself. And now he witnesses that struggle unfold once again, this time through the eyes of his daughter. William doesn't want his daughter to bear the same burdens. But how can you shield a child from the truth when that truth is evident in family photos? Camilla, by all official accounts, has never been cruel to the children. But in the royal world, cruelty is often not expressed. It's passive, it's absent, distance, the coldness behind the smile. Charlotte sees it. William realizes that she sees it. And suddenly, the boundary between the past and the future begins to blur. Insiders say that William has become more cautious in his meetings with senior royal members since the whispering incident. He asks more questions, challenges more protocols, and exercises stricter control over who spends time with his children, because he knows